The rent is very, very expensive. They have to pay for electricity, and basically they have to keep it off because the electricity is very expensive in Colombia. The poor people do not have electricity in their homes in Colombia. Very expensive in Chile, in all these countries. Gas, very expensive too.
Un ojo de la cara, el derecho de frente. ¿Qué más? El agua,
water,
la basura,
garbage,
el transporte,
transportation,
los peajes, la telefonía,
tolls, telephone,
bueno, la salud,
health,
privatizada al 100%.
privatized 100%.
Nosotros, modestamente, bueno,
We
le hemos garantizado una etapa servicios públicos de calidad.
we have guaranteed a quality
Pero
service,
sin lugar a dudas se han deteriorado
but
y el pueblo lo sabe.
and the
Y
people
el
know
pueblo
about it,
lo dice.
and the
Y
people
el pueblo
talk about
lo
it,
reclama.
and the
Y el
people
poder popular
claim it, and the
quiere ser
people's
parte de la solución
power
e
want to be
incorporarse, ministro
part of a
Nicolás Maduro,
solution
en la solución de los problemas del agua, de los
of the
desechos
problems of the
sólidos,
water and
del
garbage
gas,
and
de
residues
la
and gas,
electricidad.
electricity,
Y también, ministro Tarek,
and also Minister Tarek in the solution of the problem
de la distribución
of a
de la
distribution
gasolina
of gasoline
segura, sin
safe
mafias y del
without
diésel, del gasoil,
mafias, and the
acabar
same
con
for
las
diesel,
mafias de las
to be
estaciones de
able to
gasolina.
finish with the mafias in the gas stations.
Ustedes saben de qué estoy hablando, ¿verdad?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Los gobernadores saben de qué estoy hablando.
Do governors know what I'm talking about?
Nosotros logramos,
We have managed,
con el favor de Dios Todopoderoso,
with the help of
pido
Almighty
su
God,
favor, su protección,
with His protection,
sus bendiciones,
I
de
ask
aseguramiento
for
de
His
nuestra
protection
industria.
and blessing
Tan
of our
acosada.
industry
¿Cuántos
that is
terroristas
so
hemos capturado? Con los planes,
besieged
con
with
drones,
all
con bombas para volar nuestras refinerías.
those terrorist
Carajo, pues.
actions that they have staged, they have
Es
planned
política,
and
hacer
implemented.
política. Amenazar una refinería de un país.
Do you think
Eso se
that's
llama
to make
terrorismo. Es lo que
politics,
hace Leopoldo
to
López de
menace a gas station? That is terrorism. That's what Leopoldo Lopez does. He is threatening Venezuela. He's in Spain right now as we speak. He's a terrorist,
Diosdado sacó el video.
convicted and confessed. Diosdado
Dio la orden
pulled
de
out a
atacar y
video.
destruir
He gave the
el
instructions
almacén de
of
máquinas
attacking
electorales aquí en Venezuela.
the warehouse
Y
of
allá está en
machine,
España,
electoral
protegido por el
machines in
gobierno y
Venezuela,
por la
and he
policía de
is in
España.
Spain, protected by the government and
Y
the
no dan
police
señales.
of Spain. He does
No,
not,
no, parece que es bueno el terrorismo
but
si es contra
it
Venezuela.
seems that terrorism is good
Y
if
la
it is a
conducta
terrorism against
vía de hecho del
Venezuela.
gobierno de Pedro Sánchez en España.
This is the behavior of the government of Pedro Sanchez when he
Que mismo se grabó
protects
el video en que daba
a
la
man
orden
who recorded the
para
video
explotar,
himself, where he himself
para quemar
was given the
el
order
almacén de las
to
máquinas electorales del
to
Consejo Nacional
burn
Electoral.
and destroy the warehouse of the machines
Valga el
for the
comentario.
Electoral Council.
Ahora, lo más difícil
Now, what is difficult
lo hicieron los trabajadores de PDVSA.
was done by the
Por eso
workers of
invité a tres de
PDVSA.
sus líderes
This is why I
principales,
invited three of the main
gerentes de
leaders and
base,
managers
gerentes de la clase obrera de PDVSA,
of the working class in PDVSA
para que estuvieran presentes.
so that they be here.
Lo más difícil lo hicieron.
What was more difficult, they actually implemented it. It was that they covered
Recuperar el
the
complejo
refineries
petrocedeño,
and the complex improving of Petrocedeño, and to produce the fuels that are derived from oil that are necessary for the life of the country. So they did what was more
viene
difficult.
PDVSA
But then
y manda
PDVSA
la
comes
gasolina,
in
el
and
diésel, el
sends
gasoil que necesita
the gasoline, diesel, and gas oil required by the gas station to function in a normal way,
que la gente vaya, le echen lo que
so that
necesite y
people
paga
go
lo que tiene que pagar.
pay and put in
Hay
whatever
dos
they
tarifas,
need.
una tarifa
There are
subsidiada
two tariffs,
y una tarifa
one that is subsidized
que se fijó en base a 0.0
and that was fixed in the base of 0.50 US cents the liter. And we have more than 1 year with that tariff. Now the spread of these mobsters with different disguises, with diverse attires. They control the pumps of gasoline and distribution of diesel for the farmers that produce the food. It is shameful, this situation, and this has to finish. Minister Tarek, with the mafia handling of the sales and distribution of oil in our country. I ask the support of all the decent sectors in the country, and I ask that this become professionalized and regularized. I mean the functioning and distribution of fuels in the country. We managed what was more difficult, but actually it is impossible to manage a sale of fuel in a decent way. This is my question. Is it impossible, or is it the fact that the mafia is going to have more power than the country, than a state and the entire people? What kind of magic do they have, Mr. General Prosecutor? What is the magic behind them? To control the truck that comes in, to make a list and charge the 3 times the price in dollars. What's the magic that they have? These are disgusting mafias that use the needs of the people, whatever they call it, whether they are dressed in red. Inside they are not red, they are rotten. And you have to remove the guys they have to these mobsters that are controlling gas stations. That's enough, and we have to resolve this matter. I want results. I want quick results in this first trimester. Final results. So results that set an example. And I ask the support of a prosecutor's office. I demand justice be made.
Señor Presidente, Diputado Jorge Rodríguez.
Mr. President and Parliament Member Jorge Rodríguez, special guests,
Queridos y queridas,
comrades, ambassadors,
gobernadores,
governors,
gobernadoras, diputados, diputadas.
deputy members.
También 2021
2021
tenemos
has
que decir
also been
que fue un año en que nuestro país
a year in which our country
rescató
rescued
algo que debemos cultivar,
something that we must
el amor
grow,
por nuestra patria,
which is the love for our nation,
el amor
which is the love for Venezuela.
un año de rescate
This
paulatino
was a year of
del
gradual
orgullo nacional, del
rescue
orgullo
of a national
de ser
pride
venezolano.
and the pride of becoming Venezuelan.
Es un tema que tocamos el año
This
pasado
is
aquí
a
mismo.
topic that we dealt with last year right here.
Recuerdo la reflexión que hice sobre este tema,
And I remember the reflection I made on this
dado las campañas que había en el mundo contra Venezuela,
as a result of the campaigns worldwide against Venezuela, especially in the social media,
campañas que recorrían
campaigns
los medios de comunicación
that went through the means
para
of
mal
communication
hablar, malponer
to badmouth and misplace
a nuestro país
our country
en todos los temas.
in
Todos
all
los días arrancaban campañas
possible topics. Every day there were campaigns
para destruir
to destroy
la autoestima
the self-esteem,
nacional,
the national self-esteem,
para destruir la confianza y
to
la fe
destroy the
en nosotros
trust and the
mismos
faith
como
people
venezolanos,
had in themselves
para
as
hacernos sentir
Venezuelans, and to make us
una
feel
plaga
like a disease, as Julio Borges used to say. Julio Borges said that people that leave Venezuela are a plague. Do you remember this? They are like a contagious disease, those who leave Venezuela. He called us a plague, contagious disease. This was the campaign for especially the youth and children to feel shame of being from Venezuela, to generate a destruction of spirituality, share spirituality and national identity. This is a topic that we dealt with publicly as topic of common interest and national interests must be presented. And this year, 2021, Venezuela gave steps in a full recovery of the national spirit, of the national pride. It was the year of 200 years of celebration of Carabobo, and I truly believe that the national celebration of these 200 years of the campaign and the victory of Carabobo influenced decisively in the recovery of national pride and national spirituality and the recovery of the identity as Venezuelans. It was a sequence of events. The previous, the during, and the after the celebration of Carabobo, the plays, the theater plays, the series Carabobo, A Path to Freedom, musical works, infrastructure works, the national demonstrations, mobilizations of students, schools, high schools, universities. It was a sequence of events that was marked during the months of July, August, and September with the extraordinary participation and victories of the athletes and Paralympics that gave Venezuela the gold, silver, and bronze medals. And I remember how we welcomed them. The people went onto the streets in a very spontaneous way to welcome their heroes, their female heroes. It was a sequence of sport events, political events, spiritual and cultural events of our country. And then in November, the announcement of the Symphonic Orchestra, Simón Bolívar, a system that was created by the Professor José Antonio Abreu, of the Guinness Award, with the option of breaking a world record of the biggest orchestra in the world. Actually, the system of orchestra that has 1 million children, young people participating as musicians in their orchestras, in their parish, in their centers and municipalities, in their states, is already a record. There is no system of orchestra worldwide, Mr. Eduardo, there is no system like that have 1 million children, young children, adolescents. And this is the miracle of Master José Antonio Abreu.
Exemplary and immortal. That's why, when in November this happened, that event took place, all of Venezuela, the one that lives here in our land, and the Venezuela that lives abroad, all of Venezuela was connected. That was the day of greatest internet connection in 2021. It was the day of greatest social media circulation in 2021. They did not only broke the record of the largest orchestra in the world, but they broke the record of interaction and increased the rising of self-esteem of Venezuelans that saw themselves reflected in these students with the violins, with the trumpets, with the drums. It was a sequence of events. Crowned Ernesto, Minister of the Popular Power for the Culture, Don Ernesto Villegas Polhac, the Benjamin of Villegas Polhac, the consented one. And this is not enough. In December, Venezuela was happily surprised by UNESCO's decision of the system of education of the culture and sciences of the United Nations to declare the trumps of San Juan intangible patrimony of humanity, no less than the drums of San Juan. What a joy, what a pride, and what a strength for a country that needs identify itself, to connect itself with the good in Venezuela, with the Venezuelan history. And beyond our party appreciations and ideological differences, feeling proud of the history of a country called Venezuela, within the framework of Latin America and the Caribbean, within the framework of diversity, a diverse humanity, feeling part of a humanity, and feeling ourselves like a part that has to say, to sing, to show a lot. I ask all Venezuelans, men and women in Venezuela, here and abroad, to be part of this crusade in defense of the history of Venezuela, in defense of the national identity, and in defense of the Venezuela well-being, of the good in Venezuela, of the great in Venezuela, of the beautiful Venezuela. It's forbidden to speak ill of Venezuela. Forbidden to speak ill of our homeland. Forbidden. Now, out in the world, they say Maduro forbids people to speak ill of Venezuela. Dictatorship by Maduro is consolidated because everything you say, they use it against you. The same manipulators. You know what I'm talking about, right? So that we get our hearts together, our efforts together. How many things we have been through, and we show the world who we are. Notice that this 2021 has been a great year for the peace diplomacy in Venezuela. This 2021, we have managed to consolidate in action plans the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of America. We had two wonderful summits. One on July 24th, in the 200 years of Carabobo in Caracas, and the other in Cuba in December 14th. There we went to share with the brothers of South America and the Caribbean in Havana, Cuba, free territory of America.